I went back to Yangon in December for the holidays, and I only remember the sham election when I saw random posters and billboards along the roads with USDP and a few different colored parties that are very new to us. It was very different from the 2020 election. Yangon was so quiet, just a few posters on the roads, no t-shirts, no stickers, no noise. I saw no individuals or business sectors promoting it. I can see people aren't interested in it and are also scared to talk about politics in public. My relatives in villages in the Yangon region and Bago region said they were asked for their election registration list numbers at checkpoints. As usual, people were scared they might face violence, such as beating, punishment, or being asked for money if they didn't know their list numbers and couldn't answer. We all know that those soldiers are often drunk, rude, and threatening. Villagers warn each other to check and memorize their list numbers, or instead of panicking, just say random numbers. Because of this, my mom told me every day to memorize my number because there were many checkpoints in downtown Yangon as well. A day before the election, on December 27th, my cousins and my aunt rushed back to their villages, which are in the Yangon region, because in their villages, people were increasingly saying that not voting could mean 3 years in prison. Some even said 7 years. On the same day, a nurse from a hospital said that bus tickets were all sold out, and she had to pay a high price to go back to her hometown to vote. She was threatened with losing her job if she didn't vote. She even mentioned losing a job was still fine, but 3 years in jail was not. This clearly showed that people didn't care or plan to vote until they were forced at the last minute. My cousins came back right after the voting day, and they are now trying to find jobs in Yangon City. Because in rural areas, young people are facing forced conscription and enforced disappearance. They regularly hold lotteries to conscript young people as well. Parents are trying to send their children to other towns or foreign countries. My family and I still didn't care on the morning of December 28th, but at noon, an administrative worker from the election station called my mom and my uncle and said they had a full list and we should at least bring some young people to vote. Now, young people are always targeted under the forced conscription law, and it is difficult for them to get passports or leave the country. On the news, I saw youth in liberated areas protesting on election day against the sham election. I wish I could be with them. I can feel their freedom, something that we don't have here. I had a big fight with my parents, but my heart ached when my parents said I might be able to leave the country by trying every possible way, but what if they targeted them, my family members? I decided to go vote. I went to vote around 2:30 p.m. and I was the only person at the election station. I remembered how we had to wait in long queues during the 2020 election. At that time, both old and young people were very active, collaborative, and asked questions carefully, not to make a wrong vote. This time, it was very odd. They told me not to bring anything, no phone, no pen, no water bottle, or anything. A few people came after me. We didn't know our registration numbers and had to search for them for some minutes. Even though they announced the list and threatened to check them, people clearly didn't prepare. And on the name list and sign papers, I saw a lot of blanks, which means many people didn't bother to come vote and sign until late afternoon. Actually, no one in my family or among my relatives in my ward voted. More than 100 people at the church I attend, and almost everyone didn't bother to vote. Because she also voted and she is renewing her passport and is afraid she might be blacklisted. Actually, no one in my family or among my relatives in my ward voted. More than 100 people at the church I attend, and almost everyone didn't bother to vote. One of my friends told me not to feel lonely because she also voted, as she is renewing her passport and is afraid she might be blacklisted. I needed to vote as well because I have to pass through immigration at the airport to fly overseas, an area where people are most afraid of now.